Puerile behaviour going on here in the Millennium Noggin from Rawdon, Dubois.
I'm just ducking out back for a sec, Tom. Won't be long.
Yep. I'll start the show on my own. It's alright. Yeah, mate, that's all right. Blow the microphone out before we've actually started.
Yeah, I was just going to give you a Spider-Man then, but
yes,
I'm all done.
Instead, you gave me a Peter Piper picked a pepper. Very good. Hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another.
That's no problem, Tom. Happy to be here.
Oh, good, Rawdon. I'm glad you are. Now that you've finished everything you had to finish off downstairs.
Short back in science.
Another big episode of Under the Bar podcast. We've got Clint Hill back for part 2 of his business mentoring 3-part series.
Yeah, 3-parter.
This one we're looking at referral methods and marketing methods. So he'll touch on quite a lot of stuff. We'll recap a few of the things from part 1.
Yeah.
He'll talk about always selling, just knowing as a personal trainer that when you're moving about in your day, particularly in certain locations around near the gym where you are, that anyone could be your next client. Everyone could potentially be.
Well, mate, I had an
client.
interesting story. I was going down some stairs at the town hall, and there happened to be a girl walking up the other side. She was young with her mum. I just happened to look over, and she thought I was leering at the girl. I mean, that was clearly I wouldn't do things like that. But I had a where I used to work shirt on.
Oh yes.
So I couldn't, carry on too much when she accused me of such things. So I just sort of scurried away. But yeah, it doesn't matter where you are, you're on. I thought that was relevant.
She could have been your next client, mate.
Yes.
If you hadn't been leering.
Well, I wasn't. Just happened to, our eyes happened to cross, It was maybe there was a little bit of leering, but it wasn't really. Anyway, point was,
yes,
I was in my on my shirt, so you're always on
always on display. So talk about that referral methods. He'll look at 2 different, sort of a more organic referral method weighed up against a referral drive, where you offer some sort of incentive for people to make referrals. Then we spend quite a bit of time talking about social media and about the various tactics around social media marketing. He's very big on having a clear direction on where you want to go with your business, so that all of your social media is consistent with that outcome, being authentic to yourself.
Consistency of signaling. We know this.
Absolutely.
Broads 101. Biology.
Isoforms.
That's what it's about, isoforms.
So we spent quite a bit of time talking about that, and then the importance of having goals. He likes to have 3, 6, 9, and 12-month goals.
Yes.
All mapped out. And you made the point, I think, in the interview, Rawdon. I wonder how many of our personal trainer listeners out there have, if we asked them, how many of them have 3, 6, 9, and 12
Well, let's ask
goals.
Cam. Have you got any? No, he just shook his head. Got nothing.
Cam just rolls, man. He doesn't goal, he rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we
I
go.
don't goal, I roll. I like it. Get that back. Make a note, Tom. Back
T-shirt.
of the Under the Bar
Back of the
t-shirts.
t-shirt.
Let us know, guys, if you want, balls deep on the back of a t-shirt.
Absolutely.
We can make it happen. There's a bit of subtle marketing. I just did it.
Yes.
Just
touch points. He spoke
points.
about that. Touch points. Having multiple touch points. Segue.
Nice.
Planting seeds.
Organic.
Plant the seed.
That was organic marketing just there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it's all my best work.
You know what? Massive tangent I'm about to take here. Just planting the seed just made me think of something. I actually learnt
It's
something.
about us, this program.
Oh, it is. So, Rawdon, I'm reading...
just let me sit back a little.
Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. It's a very good book. It's a very
Did you
good...
drink some tea while you're listening to it?
Yes, Lipton tea.
Yeah,
Very good. Anyway, the first half of the book is pretty much just on cellular biology. And with all of the conversations and episodes that we've had with Broderick Chavez,
yes,
you're
practically a biologist.
Well, I am a biologist.
Yeah.
I'm obviously,
certified.
Cert 3 and Cert 4 in fitness.
Yeah.
But then neuroscientist,
yes,
evolutionary biologist,
yes,
cellular biologist, psychiatrist. I think we can chuck that one in here.
Starship travelers.
Yeah, pharmacologist, functional medical practitioner, nutritionist.
Yeah, we write plans all the time.
And really, you know what we should do? We should start an under-the-bar doctorate certification.
We should.
Because, by proxy, all of the listeners to the podcast are all of those things as well.
Exactly. And there's no passing exam at the end.
Nah,
you don't have to know anything.
No.
You just got to roll up.
Exactly. Very good.
Consistently over time.
Anyway, so for our listeners who have listened to the Broderick Chavez Evolutionary Biology 101, all that kind of stuff, this book would make a lot of sense.
So actually you did relate to quite a bit of it from what we've learned.
A lot.
Excellent.
Yes. So the conversations with Broderick made, reading the book make a lot more sense. Then the other thing that made sense was telomeres. And remember we had Jean-Francois Tremblay, I think it was episode in the 80s, maybe 84, something like that, talking about...
Back in the 80s. That's how long we've been on air, Cam, since the 80s.
Anti-aging and...
telomeres.
Injury repair peptides and the epithelom, how they lengthen the telomeres. And
that's our favourite Pepe Le Pew, that one.
All good, lengthening telomeres sounds great. What does that actually mean? So...
Here we go.
Get ready for the butcher that's about to happen. So you have the DNA double helix. And the telomeres have two functions.
Yep.
The first function is they're like those plastic bits on the end of your shoelaces that stop them from unwinding. So there's a telomere cap on the end of the double helix which stops the thread from unwinding.
Yep.
Now, when there's cell division and they have to copy or transcribe DNA...
translation,
for a cell division to occur, the DNA double helix unwinds, and then there's an enzyme... I think it's DNA polymerase, something like that. And this enzyme travels along the length of the unwound strand of DNA and makes a copy of the genes as it moves along. And it's like, the analogy he gives is like a train on a train track. So this polymerase enzyme hops on the top of the strand of the DNA, and as it moves past a block of gene coding, it pops out a duplicate out the back.
Yep.
But it needs to move beyond the current section of DNA that it's on to produce that piece.
Right.
And so when it gets to the end of the strand of the DNA, the copy is always a fraction shorter
bee's dick
than the original. Just a wafter of a bee's dick on a pinhead shorter than the previous copy.
Yep.
So every time it's copied, the DNA gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Now the telomere is a non-coding section of the DNA, so that when that enzyme moves on top of it, the bit that gets snipped off
is just the end of the shoelace.
Just the end of the shoelace. None of the actual coding
strand
is cut off until the telomeres have been copied so many times that they run out, and then you start getting dysfunctional proteins by snipping off a bit of the coding, and that's essentially the aging process.
Mofo.
And so there's an enzyme called telomerase, which lengthens or stimulates the growth of telomeres, and the epithelom is a telomerase activator. So it's basically activating this enzyme that lengthens telomeres so that strands can be copied and copied and copied. And what he's insinuating in the book is that they've measured that telomerase activity can be upregulated by the way you perceive the world, your stress levels, parasympathetic activity, the amount of love you experience, social connections, all that kind of stuff. You're in trouble.
Loved one, social connections.
Yeah,
hamburgers. What about hamburgers? Is that on there? If you've got a bit of hamburgers?
It's probably going to deactivate telomerase activity, mate.
My shoestring lace is...
all gone, frayed.
That bit at the end.
Yeah. So
fascinating.
So there you have
that was a reasonable. I don't think that was too. I thought that was very Professor. I'm going to call you Professor Hewett. That was excellent.
All right, good.
Uni,
evolutionary biologist.
Come to the under the bar uni.
All right, let's go to Clint Hill for part 2 of his business expose.
He got us.
That's Cam's just private little joke.
Yeah, good
just
one.
Just to blow our eardrums out.
He always gets the last laugh. Yeah, we pay him the big bucks.
He does.
But he always has a laugh like, yeah, how about those eardrums, boys? Cop this.
Okay.
Anyway.
PT business expert Clint Hill is back again for part 2 of his extended 3-part series. Clintus Maximus, welcome to the studio once again.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
And he's an expert on everything, pretty much, Tom. But PT business, one element. There's a lot of S&C in the background there.
Yeah, 100%.
Earns his stripes. But where are we going today, Tom? So we're going to have a bit of a recap of session 1, and then we're going to go, session 2 will be the marketing. We're going to explore balls deep, as we say on the podcast, into the marketing side of things.
Sounds very good. So, Clint, in part 1 of our chat, we were looking at the individual personal trainer setting up their business structure. And I think one of the overarching principles was, everyone's different.
Yep.
And whatever training packages you use, whatever diary management software you use, whatever methods of billing or upfront payments you use, it's all applicable. It's all got a place. There's no right or wrong.
Correct.
You have to know yourself, know your personality type, and work within those frameworks.
Absolutely.
So with the, what was it, the Myers-Briggs?
The Myers-Briggs test, yes.
Personality test. Would you recommend if people, it's just a starting place to find out what they're like, go and do that?
That is a big investment, but certainly one that I believe is an excellent investment.
So what do you pay for that?
I think it's about $1,000 a head these days.
Is that right?
But it's not a small test. It's
and what is it again for those that don't know what you're talking about?
Myers-Briggs is basically a personality test, to be honest. It will then guide you through what your personality type and what are your main motivators. So whether it's your family, your money, etc., etc. But the really key part of the Myers-Briggs test is what it also then does is it teaches you, I guess, the best way to manipulate yourself. Because I think one of the things that a lot of PTs do wrong is they try and manipulate systems to better themselves rather than look at what system they need to change to better themselves.
Yes.
So what I mean by that in a nutshell is that they look at another personal trainer they want to emulate.
Yes.
And then just try and flog that like a dead horse. But that's never going to work for that person. The three of us sitting in this room, potentially.
They might get it right.
They may get it right, and that's probably even worse in a lot of ways because then they've got no fucking idea why they did that method. They just did it in the first place.
Yeah.
The three of us sitting in this room, very different trainers, very different focuses, very different ideas. I could take one of your clients, train them, do whatever the fuck you asked me to do, and I could train them and that'd be fine on your program, no issue.
Yep.
But we could look at the same person, get a completely different program with a completely different structure for a completely different reason. Now, that is what the personality testing will help you decipher.
Okay, so that was what we covered in the first one, plus the various systems, I think. It's pretty much, there's lots out there. Find what and if you do this Myers-Briggs, might answer a few things, but
if you don't do Myers-Briggs, all I urge you to do is sit down with someone who is a few years ahead of you, or a little more experienced, a business coach or whatever. It doesn't particularly matter, but actually nut out why you're doing those things. Don't just fucking do them.
Yes.
Okay. That's the really hammer home point for me, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah. Have method to the madness, as I like to say. And you actually had business coaching there for a bit as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did for probably 18 months or so. I had it was like life business / life coaching. Yeah, it was really effective.
Yep,
it was great.
Yeah, and it did seem to correlate with you getting a little bit more deliberate and very definitive with the choices you made, and it seemed to become a little more structured.
And it changes your efficiency. It changes, it changes your focus, and they're big things. They really are, because everyone thinks PT is this, organic beast that you just walk in and all of a sudden clients are throwing themselves at you, and the three of us in this room know very clearly that that's fucking not the way.
The thing about it is, I guess it's like any person running their own business. Is it's like the challenge is getting yourself to do the things that you know you should, that you identify. Rawdon, this is what you and I are great at.
Yes.
Coming up with these big lists and grand plans, and then it's getting ourselves to actually do them. That's where the challenge lies. Okay, so let's assume our PT out there has got a really nice, smooth booking system, training packages, programming systems down. So now in a position to get
a bit of business,
take in capacity and take in people. How does he get those people in?
All right, so
he or she, I should say.
Yeah.
And is there sort of, sorry to jump in, is there sort of old school, new school? You're going to give them a bit of a...
Yeah, I'll definitely go across both sides of things, and I'll start with let's just say business basics around what I believe. Okay, now I wrote a Facebook and Instagram post a couple of days ago that's called basically selling is bullshit. Now, what I mean
catchy.
by that, very catchy. Okay, and for me, you must always be selling. You must always be in a position where you're looking for your next client.
Yes.
So I caught the train in here, and I said g'day to a couple of guys. Is there a reason for doing that? No. There's just a practice that needs to occur for me to remember that while I'm sitting in a cafe, the same guy that I see over and over again, that could potentially be my next client.
Yeah.
Now, I talk about it that every single person around you is an opportunity. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be a creep and, start walking up to random people on the street and tapping them on the shoulder.
Hoodwinking them.
Correct.
Hoodwinking, yes.
But look, I sit in the same cafe.
A Rolls Royce.
Rawdon and I sit in the same cafe, the good old bean house down in sunny Redfern, right next door
Nick,
to
Keith and Georgie, the boys.
Shout out to the boys. And very religiously, I will talk to people in the cafe because they're there at the same time, which means they're about 50 metres away from lift, which means they are my next potential client.
Yep.
Okay.
And tell me, Clint, before you go on, have you actually, since you have been doing that, some of those have become clients?
So now a good client of mine, Brent. So Brent trains with me 5 days a week. I first met him sitting in a cafe in Potts Point when I was working at a different gym. I sat there for about a month, nod, g'day mate, how are you? Chat about this, chat about that. Nothing to do with what the fuck are you training today?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with your traditional old school methods of, it's chest day, is it champion?
Yeah.
Fuck that shit off. You need to actually connect with the person. Okay, and I used to do it down here, just down the road when I was working down at Bond Street. I would stand at the top of the dress circle. For those of you who know what Bond Street looks like, you can stand at the top of the
stock exchange.
That's exactly right. So you used to be able to look down onto the old stock floor, and I'd say to the group of PTs that were always accumulated around the top of the stairs, "What are you going to go talk to that guy in the red shirt about?" And they go, he's. I just saw him doing lat pull down. His form was fucked. I'll go talk to him about that. I went, bah! Next. They'd be like, what's going on? I'm like, no, you don't do that. Go and find something that you can connect with the dude on. Say, hey mate, I see that you've got a, Gold Coast Marathon T-shirt on. Did you do it? Connect on a better level than that. Yeah. This is what PTs do wrong. Okay. Yes, it's a numbers game. But it's also about, do you have any common interest with that person? Are you actually suited
to work with them?
I like where you're going with this, Clint, because they may well be, your pull down was wrong. Okay, well, train me. Then you work out you have nothing in common with the guy, and it's just a sap the life out of you you're almost vetting
the good old energy vampire. You need people that match you, and if you're always doing that, it's not a difficult process. So when you get to a point where you need a fucking new client, you just jump on that one and push it a little harder. It's that simple, right? So you're always layering, always, always, always. Okay, and if you're there and they're there, that means they're an opportunity.
Exactly.
That's all there is to it.
At the same time.
Okay, if they have a wallet, the money that is in that wallet is better in my pocket than in theirs.
Absolutely. And you can just pick that pocket and when he's in there, out of the change room, take that money.
Okay, that I'm not suggesting.
No, that was just my little tip for Marketing 101. All right, so
cool.
So okay, that was a bit of an overview of one of the ways that layering. And do you want to just, the concept of layering is pretty self-explanatory, but you're just sort of repeatedly...
Yeah, we explained it off air. Well, you explained it off air exactly the way that the old school method is. First day, walk past, say good day. Second day, walk past, g'day mate, how's things? How you going today?
Yep.
Third day, the next step up. Fourth day, have a little chat. Fifth day, da-da-da-da-da. And now that's just a continuing process to get to know that person. That is all layering is. okay, to a point where eventually you know that they train arms on Tuesdays.
Yes.
Well, hey, I saw you doing bicep curls there. I'll show you a variation.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Okay, that's your typical commercial gym strategy.
PT
okay?
101, yep.
My second one that we want to talk about is definitely around referrals. Okay, now referrals again should be part of layering, but there's a secondary part of that, and that's how to get referrals and organise a system that actually works. Now, with the introduction, I guess, of a lot more of the business coaching side, there's a very severe push towards referrals. Okay, creating raving customers out of your own facility or your own PT studio or from your own client base means that those people are talking about you. Okay, referral is the easiest possible way to get a raving customer, because if let's say, Rawdon, I'm training you and you're getting the results you want, you then go tell Tommy. Tommy then turns around and goes, well, if he gets along well with Rawdon and he's getting results, he'll get along well with me. Done. Yeah. Okay. The sale process is almost
done for
seamless.
Done. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, that's the simplest form of referrals. Then we obviously have the secondary type of referrals, which is a referral drive, whether it's Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, whatever that happens to be, or whether it's a giveaway or something of those descriptions. So let's say that it's a gym scenario where they offer you 2 weeks free or a month or a prize package for referring. The referral drives are, I guess, starting to fall over. And the reason that they're starting to fall over is because every man and his dog's doing them the exact same way. And I think the worst part of that is that you're not creating the raving customers first.
Yeah.
Now, one of the gyms that I've just spoken to, I've really funneled him down the pathway of create the raving customer first, because the previous business coach he was using just kept going, put up a free pair of Nikes, get people to, one referral gets them an entry into the draw. Right? So
the referral drive is where you're offering a
prize
to one of your clients, correct, to refer someone
correct,
else. Right.
Or free time on their membership or whatever the case may be.
So there's an incentive for them to refer someone.
Yeah. Okay. Now, look, no matter where we go these days, there's a reward scheme, there's a incentive program, there's a points, whatever it happens to be. So we're all very aware of those. It doesn't generate as much interest as it used to. Okay. Now, I'm sure a few of your listeners will have seen Alex Hormozi flying around the internet at the moment. Now, this is the guy that created the F45 marketing strategy. Now, right now, and I saw an ad for it while I was sitting in the foyer waiting for you boys. Basically, this is how I've created a 3 times business, revenue for X, Y, and Z. Now, look, it's a very simple system. There is a very clear method. Throw as much money on the marketing side as possible. Therefore, get the widest reach, and therefore nail the numbers. It's just a simple click funnel.
Numbers game.
This
much money in, produces this many leads. We convert this many leads into this much dollar amount, blah, 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 blah.
But you still got to be able to sell, and you still got to be a person that those people want to be training with, or those people want to use your gym. Something like F45 these days sells itself. People know what they're getting.
Yep.
And to be fair, if you're a between 20 and 30-year-old blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl from Bondi, you're probably perfectly suited to an F45.
Yeah, absolutely. Better get a membership, huh? F45, you say.
You definitely look like the type, Rawdon.
Yeah, all that functional stuff.
Bringing it back to the individual PT and referral systems within your own client pool, because the nice thing about that is the people they'll talk to, they'll already know the price.
Correct.
They already know that this person's trustworthy, like you were saying. So are there any systems that you've given or methods you've sort of promoted to say...
Look, I guess the really simple part here, Tommy, is that, again, and when I sit down with people for the first time, I individualise it. And I spoke to a young guy by the name of Alex Downs, who's out in Narellan. Very interesting. There were some things we spoke about this week, and he said, I eventually want to own my own gym. when I wrote him an email about what I think steps should be and so on and so forth, I said in that particular email, your coach is your gym. And he was like, mate, I don't own that gym yet. And I said, well, that's where you want to go. So let's talk like that is the case. Now, when he spoke to me about a referral system, I said, you must start at getting referrals from the people you're already training. But then the next step is understanding that system. So for me, it's about what works for you. It's about how you want to make your business better for the people that you already train. So if, let's say that it's a young PT from Fitness First. They're training a corporate guy who works at PwC, whatever, okay? If he's getting the results and then they ask for the referral, 9 times out of 10 it's going to occur.
Yep.
If he's getting the results and you don't have to ask for the referral, but you've baited him to get that done, it's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the three of us here have gotten referrals from all over the place, and most of those organic, and we have no idea how that occurred. Okay. I asked the question, why did you decide that I was the right person? Now, Sharon's perfect example, Rawdon. Sharon Wingate, so training with the Rawdon for 4 years, 5 years, something along those lines. 4 years, yeah. Now, she said to Rawdon that she was interested because she'd watched what I was doing with someone else and therefore creating that. Now, that's, again, let's revolve that back to layering, right? Because she was watching my social media going, oh, hang on a sec, what's she doing there? She then contacted one of those particular women and then spoke to Rawdon. So 0 referral, but referred by 3. Okay. So social media, Elise Fug, and then straight into to the big man.
Yeah, right.
So truthfully, when you're starting out, it must suit you. The referral system must suit your personality and also should be really clear-cut and simple.
Okay. Have you got a few examples of referral systems that the guys can adopt?
Okay, so the first one and probably the easiest, okay, is talk about how you got a referral already. So I'm training you, Tommy.
Yep.
I want you to refer, but I don't want to have to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so I explained to you the story I just told about Sharon. Plant the seed.
Plant the seed in your client's mind.
Plant the seed in your client's mind that referrals are a thing you're looking for.
And you value.
I like having people in my business that are like you. I like people in my business that are similar personality type. Oh, hang on, my mate Bob, da-da-da-da-da. Okay?
Plant the seed.
Plant the seed. First one, nice and simple.
Very good.
Plant the seed.
Now,
that'd be nice on the back of a shirt, I think. Plant the seed.
Yeah.
End of our podcast.
I like it.
Okay. So the second one, I think, and probably the really simple, most basic version of it is making sure your social media, your thought processes, and your direction is aiming at growing your business. If you're always saying you're full, no one's ever going to approach you. Now, Rawdon and I have had this exact conversation. Yes. Okay? If people see something, they believe it. They generally don't question. Okay? So making sure, and by the way, this does not mean, and every time I say this, I fucking want to vomit. When someone puts up, I have 3 spots available.
No, that's all that's left, mate. You got to be quick.
Oh, come on.
I've only got 3. 2 now. It took too long. It's 2 now. It's only 1.
Exactly.
You better get on.
In the time we've been on this podcast. So, yeah.
You missed out, Tom. Next intake next week.
That's right. Yeah. Tomorrow. And we've all seen it 100 times over. Okay? Everyone knows it's bullshit. Okay?
Yeah.
Mate, I've got as many spots as I can fill to this day. And I'm still doing 40-odd sessions a week. Throw them at me, son.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if that's not your attitude, probably in the wrong business to start with, okay? But let's I'll leave the the bluntness aside for 30 seconds. The key there is making sure people know this is my new client. It's as simple as that. You write that on an Instagram post, a Facebook post, a tweet, whatever it is, right? Whatever your form of social media is. People then know, oh, hang on, he is still taking on clients or she is still taking on clients. It is that simple. You must let people know. Let's call it planting the seed version 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
2.0.
2.0. So yeah, it's just about making sure that people understand that is something that is still occurring in your business.
Yep.
Every time someone writes full, okay, sure, it doesn't create demand. Okay, we're past that era.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
All right, so that's pretty good. We got Sow in the Seed version 1.0 and 2.0.
Yes.
Very good, very good. All right, so what about if we were to go the social media? You've sort of suggested some of the tact you can use on social media to let people know, and that's pretty much to, I can vouch firsthand that was pretty much what you told me to do, and I basically just suggested that I had availability for Arnold's, and and lo and behold, people came on board. So it was wise. I think I went with version 1.0 with that. You
did.
But
that's
2.0 is an option there, Tommy.
Yeah.
Correct.
What about I see these sponsored ads, and this is still relatively fun. I know you don't. You 7 minutes, 1 minute a day for Tommy on social media.
Yes.
So perhaps he'll listen and
I'll just sit and take some notes.
Notes. But
Sure.
for the rest of us that are on social media, I see sponsored ads, and
right.
for me personally, from the outside looking in, when I see a sponsored ad, it's like, oh, he's sponsoring that ad. What's he trying to sell there? And I just brush it, and I don't like. I look at, for me, the way I look at it, it's sort of like it requires X amount of work a day. It's part of my role as a PT, I think, or a coach in the industry today. I've got to put X amount of time on social media. But the ones that are sponsored and just sort of, it almost looks like a lazy, unless it's for an event coming up, then I get it. So you can just keep seeing the event that's coming up. But when they sponsor a result that they've gotten with a client, it's just like, I'm not interested in seeing that over and over and over.
So let's go back to version 1.0, planting the seed, okay? And we're going to pull up the word layering again, okay? Because this is a huge part of this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Alex Hormozi again, okay? So this is how this occurred. I spoke to Jade Pearman, who is so she and her partner took F45 to the UK. So Jade mentioned Alex's name. Point 1, she mentioned his name.
Seed.
Okay, seed planted. Point 2, I saw the sponsored ad, did not click on the fucking thing, but I saw it. Point 3, someone else brought it up. Okay, by now I'm layered well enough to click on the fucking ad. Okay,
Just out of curiosity.
Out of curiosity alone. Okay, wanting to understand. Hang on, I've now been touched, layered, whatever you want to call it, by this guy 3 times. Okay, not inappropriately at this stage. Now, very clearly for me, that's the same point that I just made with Sharon. It's the same point that I'm just about to make about sponsored ads, okay? If your name is not big enough, or your touch or your reach is not big enough anyway, sponsored ads are probably going to do 3/5 fuck all for you, okay? Doesn't matter how many clear SEO words you've got, doesn't matter which search engine you want to run through and hammer home those points. If the business that you have got is not authentic, good, clean, effective, it doesn't matter how much you want to sponsor an ad. You're going to get a couple of dickheads that click on it and come along. But clearly, you need to be in a position that you have a product to sell, that you need to get out there, but you're already out there to certain people. So let's say it's you, Rawdon. Let's say you're trying to... obviously, before this, you were speaking to Broderick. Okay, so if you were bringing Broderick back out here for something else, okay, you mention it here, someone hears it here. Okay, then you post about it, someone sees it there. Then the third point is then a sponsored ad, right? So it's not, people need the social proof now. They need to see more than one thing. Okay, back in the day, when this all first started, all the Facebook marketing and Instagram marketing, people were clicking on these things, straight off the top of the bat. Click funnel, bang, done, boom, I'm in, right? Now it's more than that.
I think I might have been hoodwinked by these guys putting sponsored ads up. I've just sort of skimmed it, but then I've noticed it because I obviously just brought it up to you.
Correct.
And I see it again the next day.
Yeah, one more point of contact and you're in.
Yeah, but I almost got hoodwinked.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So what you're saying there is it's just another method of layering.
Absolutely.
The sponsored ad, if you were to look closely, would probably match another message that they had with their regular post, which... If you talk to someone, Yep. It's like, oh, yeah, that's what he does. He does that stuff. Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Let's step back even further from that and, Clint, get your thoughts on how a personal trainer should start actually crafting their social media image.
Awesome.
Bring it all together, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's very good.
There's two clear points here. Okay. You need to have a clear direction about where you're going. Okay. And I mentioned young Alex before. He wants to own a gym. He's a strong man. He has a very clear idea of what he wants to achieve. Mm-hmm. Okay. We know now that the social media strategy that must be done has to balance to that person.
Yep.
Okay. The same thing here. Okay. Clear path. Make sure that you actually understand. Now the path can change. Okay,
yes.
This is a guide, like this is a plan, this is a program, whatever you want to call it, right? Something cool comes up, fucking whack it on, okay? The other part about this is you must create the enjoyment for the follower, okay? It's a journey for them too, okay? If all I see is the same post of the big Rawdon doing bicep curls, eventually I'm going to get fucking bored and click out of there, right? Okay? There needs to be something there that captures people, okay? Now, one of the big things when social media first started was, on Monday we do a motivation post, on Tuesday we do this, on Wednesday we do Wednesday wisdom, on Thursday we do throwback Thursday, whatever they were, Now,
hump day,
vomit.
Exactly, right? Now, the point is, we've all seen that enough. We've all followed those people. We've all understood, oh shit, this is what's going to happen today. I'm going to see another pic of someone's ass or whatever it is, right? The point is now, are you creating the social media journey for your follower that you want to show them? Do you show them what it's like to walk in and train with you? Do you show them that you like apples instead of oranges? Do you show them that, we're sitting here doing a podcast? Do you show them that stuff? How do you show someone your journey? You show them all the parts of it. Okay, then the social proof is no longer just about transformations. The social proof is no longer just about how big are your fucking biceps. It's not that anymore. Okay, it needs to be a complete picture from go to woe
of you as a person.
Absolutely,
of your most authentic self.
Correct.
If you can do that.
And if on one day you're feeling super motivated, fucking put 3 posts up. And if the next day you don't want to do shit, don't do shit. See, the other problem is that people really capture this, I've got to make a post today, I haven't put anything up. Bullshit, okay? Unless you're some type of social media influencer that needs the, I'm going to say validation, but the validation through their particular sponsor, okay? It shouldn't be the bullshit, inauthentic, daily crap posts. I tell a lot of my guys who are really uncomfortable with it, Sunday, I want you to sit down in an hour. I want you to jam through as many posts as you can. Then, when it comes to Monday, you just pick one of those and just put the fucking thing up. Tuesday, pick another one, put it up. Wednesday, put another one up. If that's all you did, 3, sweet. Fucking walk away. There's your week done, champ. I go, but. No, be authentic. And that's how you feel, do it.
Yep. And I think it comes back, Tommy, to what with the session 1 where it was audit.
Yep.
See what makes you tick.
Yep.
See what you're comfortable with. It seems to be a.
Are we seeing a pattern here?
I think there might be session 3 might be laced through.
Yes.
Just sprinkled on top there for session 3 as well.
Yep.
But it I see where you're going, Clinton. There's this constant theme, and I dare say, it's one of the key fundamentals to success and longevity in the industry, because you're creating an image and a product that you're happy with.
Yep.
You've got, clientele that you actually want to coach.
Yep.
You got systems set up that don't grind your gears every second of the day. Yep. You can see how it might actually be a nice industry to work in after all, Tom. Maybe our jaded view on the health and fitness industry is unwarranted. There's hope for us yet.
That's our fault.
Yes.
So, Clint, with these posts, are we looking at content, written, photo, video?
Awesome question, okay. My favourite part of social media is the bullshit, okay. Now, the best part about this is that you must do X. Fuck that. Do what you need, okay. Sometimes I put up a post.
Say that.
Yeah, strangely enough. Enough. Okay, so sometimes you put up a post that's a photo of you of the 3 of us smiling and going, great catch up with the boys.
Yep.
Boom, done. Don't hashtag the world. Don't fucking tag the world in it. Just fucking do you. Okay? Be authentic.
Yep.
Okay? The next one, put up a huge post about how to do a lat pull down properly. Or my favourite, and the big Rawdon knows this one, do not fucking cross your fucking feet doing a chin up.
Yeah.
Okay? But whatever it happens to be, it doesn't matter. Okay? The point is, it's not about who hits like anymore. It's about the touch points. Okay? I talked about it a second ago with the layering. I talked about it a second ago with the marketing. I talked about it with everything. I don't care whether you get 1,000 likes or 3. I care who pays you. Okay? So it's very simple to me to be in that scenario where I can sit here and say that to people, because financially, the systems that I put in place, the number of clients that I have, the way everything is set up, that's been a progression, and it's a slow burn for me. Okay, I've been able to grow the business that way, but I've also helped people grow their business in 2 years. I've also helped people grow their business in 6 months. It doesn't matter.
It's a good point that Clint's making there, Tommy. Again, in your 7 minutes that you're on social media, you may not be privy to seeing others in the industry sort of come into the industry and then get, grow exponentially with the amount of followers that they have. And if you to look at the posts, it is sort of like he's talking, they're talking about what they, their headspace today. This is, I don't want to know about that. That's just, but another 1,000 likes, another 1,000 followers, another 1,000 followers, and it's grown. And it seems to be this authenticity that you're actually describing, Clint, where some days it is a little bit more factual and educational, other days I'm having a bit of a shit day, and I think it's because the viewer can relate and understand. Correct. And it's like, I'm having a shit day too, and it's whether they're clever and putting that stuff up, so because they know people they want to see that, or it is genuinely, I guess it would be hard to differentiate, but whatever it is, it seems to be what people like. It doesn't seem to be the guys that are necessarily putting great content. Like, it's like, wow, he's a really good coach, and shit, that information about the pull up and the feet are straight, that's fantastic. Everyone should be liking that. How come no one's watching and he's only got 2,000 followers? Maybe there's something in.
I think there's two really clear points that you're touching on there, and the first one is, it doesn't matter how many likes you get. It's about the concept of what you're trying to achieve. Then the second side of it, and probably the most important part of this, is you show people what you want to show people. Okay, it doesn't have to be, for you, Rawdon, it can be the guys that you're preparing for Arnold's. Do you want to look this way? Okay, but if you also want to show what you ate for lunch, we'll fucking put it up. Okay, now it doesn't specifically mean that you're going to lose followers, gain followers, get likes, whatever for that particular post. But what it does is it breaks the monotony of the same fucking things. Now, if you're happy with your business, everything's going in the right direction, don't fucking change your social media strategy.
It's not broken, so don't fix it.
It's not broken, don't fix it, okay? Unless you need to. If you're short of cash, need extra clients, want to change your direction, whatever it happens to be, change your fucking direction.
And I think that's a good point, Clint, because you said, your goals change, you evolve. Once upon a time, maybe you just wanted to put, training videos. Correct. But then you're a different type of coach now. And now it's, you're even maybe a little more comfortable about people knowing what makes you tick. Whereas at first, there might be some apprehension in, what if someone doesn't like what I say, or they don't like what food I ate for lunch? I might use a couple of likes, but I guess it's when you're comfortable and you've, if we filter back to that, what you said in the last episode, you've done the audit, what direction you're heading in, your vision, and I guess it's an extension of that, where even your social media is another layering.
It's just an extension of you, okay? And I think I said at podcast one, Tommy, something along the lines of, and I can't remember the exact way I worded it, but I'll say it this way, and you guys can wrap that up. I don't care how many likes you get on a photo. I care how many people pay you. So
absolutely,
if Dan Conn, fitness influencer extraordinaire, who's a pretty good dude, by the way, but the concept is, if he gets 50,000 likes on a photo because he's got his shirt off, sweet. Now, the touch point for him is he had a pair of body science shorts on, for example, right? So does that create awareness for body science? Yes, it does. So that's a secondary touch point. So if someone has come through, they were trying to decide, they were standing in ASN and they're trying to decide between Body Science Protein and some other brand, and they just saw that Dan Con's sponsored by that, that's a little tap on the back of the head. Oh, I'm going to go to the Body Science version because of X. Okay? That's the social media influencer side. For me, for you guys, and for 100% your listeners, make sure you know what you're trying to achieve out of it. Yes. I'm trying to layer people to a point where they eventually go, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. Got an email this morning from a young lady by the name of Jenna.
Hey, Jenna, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Jenna. Okay. She, the touch point there was a naturopath by the name of Kira Sutherland. Now, Kira trains one of our was involved with one of Tommy and I's mutual clients, and basically from there, she has then referred across to me. But she didn't ring Kira and say, hey, who would you go see? She followed me because Kira liked a post, etc., etc.
Right.
So again, that's another layering approach, but it's because and she stalked the shit out of my social media apparently. She went through the whole lot before she did that. So that's that social proof. Hang on, this is the guy I want to talk to.
Yep. So let's say on the Sunday, the guys out there are putting together 4 to 7 posts for the week that they'll put up. It could be, the training video, what they've had for lunch, what their headspace is, blah, 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 blah. In that mix, do you put an offer out or no? So we don't do that. You just
Okay, so the clear thing...
Tommy, I can tell you're only 1 minute a day, mate.
So one of the things that I say to people is you need to grow your reach before you open the account. Okay? So it doesn't matter whether... Again... If you've got 100 followers and none of them are currently your clients, okay, then go for it. Throw an offer out. Doesn't matter, okay? You're only going to get you've got nothing to lose, okay? People are only going to pick it up if they want to pick it up anyway, okay? But the other side of it is if I had a hold of someone's social media account and I said, right, so we're going to go for an entire month. This is the strategy we're going to follow. Put up one of you training your client, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So there's 20 odd posts, then maybe there's an opportunity to throw in hey guys, why don't you come in for a half price assessment, whatever it happens to be. Or you hit those people up and say, hey guys, we're going to run a competition, whatever it is, okay? The strategy must suit the person. Like I said before, okay? The offer side of things is no longer the key motivator for most people to purchase, okay? People want to buy when they want to buy. You just have to be the choice of who they buy.
Which comes back to that layering and that letting them know you're available, the things we've spoken about.
Yep.
One of the things that I want some clarification on right now, thanks, Clint, is you've spoken about, we said look at your business, look at your plans, that type of stuff. And I think in version 3.0, we're going to go into long-term sort of prospects. This might be a good place to sort of touch on it and then wrap things up for today. How far ahead, and this is something Tommy and I are guilty of, and again, we come up with these, man, if you saw these plans, for our listeners out there, if you heard some of the plans we've come up, we're taking over the world.
Have you?
Good. Yeah. Just hasn't started yet. So we'll just let that
start tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll start tomorrow. How far ahead should they have a vision? Is it okay for 6 months? I just want to be making a bit more coin. Then a year, I want to, how long do you? You're probably going to do a Broderick on me. Well, it depends. It depends on their personality. But
I would normally
encourage.
I would normally do a depends. Okay, but let's for the purpose of the podcast, let's hammer this home a little harder.
Because it would strike me also just before you go in there that if they did, we would be a lot more productive.
Correct.
So that's where I'm going with it.
Okay, so a client comes to you and says, I want X physique by then. That's a very simple understanding of how that works. A client comes to me and says, hi, I don't really know what I want.
Yep.
But you seem like the right kind of guy to do this. Okay.
And that often can happen.
And that happens quite regularly, right? A lot of people don't have clear-cut goals.
Yep.
As a PT, if you don't have a clear-cut goal of where you want to be in 3, 5, and 10 years, we're going to probably have some strategic problems and some massive strategic changes, some time wasting, etc., etc. And that's fine, okay? There's nothing wrong with changing your path. But my dad used to always say, if you've got to choose between the blue and red and you don't know which one you want to choose and why you want to choose it, fucking pick one and start working on that. If it's the wrong one, you'll work that out fucking 10 times faster than sitting there procrastinating about both. Okay? So very simple for me, just fucking start. Get started. Pick a point. You want to live in Timbuktu. Sweet. There's our starting point. 5 years' time, we're moving to Timbuktu. Right, bang. Work backwards from there. If you don't know where you're going, you don't have a point to work backwards from. Okay? So as a PT, I would definitely be saying 3, 6, 12, 3 years and 5 year goals.
So 3, 6, 12 months and then...
Right.
Yep. That's not bad. That's good. That's workable. And I like that. That's a little bit like, if someone does have a strength goal, someone does have body comp goal, you've got these little landmarks along that 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 is the comp or the game or the sporting event. So, it's the very thing that we instill in the clientele that we're working with, yet we're often guilty. I think you'd be hard-pressed, if we were to throw it out there and say, okay, PTs, what's your 3, 6? I mean, there would be some. I think they are becoming, and by they I'm talking about the greater community, and that's why you're busy AF. I think that it is becoming more, I need to have a business, either mentor or be business savvy, competent, if you will, and have these goals. So I think there are a lot more coaches that do have specific vision and goals that they want to achieve. But I think on the flip side of that is there's still a ton out there that are not. Yeah, look, and maybe they're the ones that flake out and don't. Yeah, and look, I talk about this in my mentorship all the time. One of the very big things for me is knowing at least a starting point of where you want to go. Yeah. If it's save $20,000, I don't care, right? So then we can go, right, $20,000, we want to save that in a year, divided by 52, Bob's your ankle. There's a starting point. If somebody says, I want to save some money, okay. That's the uppercut?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point, right? We have to have some clear goals, okay?
Do you want to me? Yeah. Pull their heart out.
That's right. But I think it's been seen as this industry has been seen as too flaky, to fly by the seat of your pants. Yeah.
Sort of almost encouraged.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. And realistically, mate, and Tommy, as you've just written down there, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month, 3 year, 5 year goals. Is that anything different to your health and fitness? Not at all.
No. Same.
Okay.
No.
Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 3? How do you want to do this? It's
do it
just
in
mapping.
Any of the 5 to 7 areas of life, depending on who you listen to.
Correct.
Cool.
Goes back to the Paul Check days where he talked about the totem pole. Yes.
Totem pole. The erect totem pole.
The erect totem pole, which...
You're not familiar with that,
no.
Mate, good. But very simply, there was heart, lungs, in this hierarchy of a totem pole. Okay, and it's back in the old school Paul Check days, probably 99 to 2003, 2010.
It's just organs and systems of the body.
Organs and systems of the body.
System of the down.
Yes, very system of the down, actually. There may be a down system. But basically, the whole concept was he ranked things according to how you should train them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's the exact same thing that we're talking about here, but just you're setting the system. You're making the decisions. You want to get married in 3 years. This is how much you're going to need to get married. This is what... No,
you don't want to do that.
Sorry about that.
That's foolish. Don't get any days, Cam.
Just
you're lost.
Just find
gone.
Just find
someone.
Turn
to the dark side, Tom.
Find someone you don't like and give them half. Yep.
Yeah, damn straight. All right.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely awesome. So what do we do here, Tom? To get in touch with Clint, do we do a bit of that stuff to wrap this one up and then
good idea.
Version 3.0?
Cool.
Okay, for our, what have you got on offer? You meant the mentorship program you got, Cert 3. What don't you have, basically? Kitchen sink?
Kitchen sink. I do not do kitchen sinks.
Well, you need a 3, 6, 12 month kitchen sink plan.
Yes.
Clearly.
So my online mentorship, which basically Zoom call once a week, emails go out. There's a online community group of coaches that we get together to talk about relevant topics. Yep. Very similar to a podcast in a lot of ways, but much more refined into what's needed for that particular
Probably much
group.
better than our podcast, I think.
And that's a group Zoom that they do every week?
Yep, correct.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome. Thursday at midday.
Yep.
So then I've got one-on-one mentoring, of course, as well. Face-to-face stuff, some of that online as well. Then the next step up is obviously the courses that I've written and run. Cert 3, Cert 4, which I release at the end of the month.
Exciting.
That's the big one for me. That's been a
baby's been in the pipeline. That's more than a 3, 6, 12-month package. That one,
you bet, and cost me more than a 3, 6, 12-month package of it.
Maybe that married half thing. Maybe cost you that much.
That definitely cost me that one. That's for sure. Definitely cost me a relationship, but that was a small price to pay. But look, again, that for me is about giving back to the industry that I firmly love and firmly believe in. And solidly passionate about.
Bit of room for one-on-one PT
Bit of room for one-on-one PT. As I said, I work 800 hours a week. So
you do?
Yes.
You're in there when I'm in there training?
Correct. In your marathon 2.5 hour
that's a
weight
quick
session.
3 hours.
Wow.
3 hours.
So
it's all right, I got amino acids.
No, 100%.
But
all right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, mate. Looking forward to session 3 when we take it up another notch and look at how we start scaling a business and getting staff members or franchise models or F45s, whatever it is.
Yep.
Thanks for your time.
Just quickly, if they do want to contact you, how?
Social media is probably the nice, simple one. Hill Strength at Instagram or Clint Hill or Hill Strength and Performance, whichever one you like, on email, which is clint@hillstrengthandperformance.com.au.
Beautiful.
Nice. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Great stuff there from Clint Hill, Clintus Maximus. Very interesting with those referral methods there, Rawdon, the planting the seed. If you're producing good results for your clients and you have a quality brand and you spend time working on your product to make it better, then people will be more likely to just organically go out and refer you to other people. So I think that's a very good point and well worth making. A lot of that social media stuff is obviously a little bit out of my realm, the authenticity and basically making your social media an extension of your life. That's probably what I shy away from. That's the whole thing that I shy away from.
Well, you and I are quite boring individuals. Like, I just don't think, other than showing videos of Jada, which if anyone follows me on we're friends on Facebook, that's entertaining. But everything else, it's just not worth. It's not worth sharing.
We're simple people.
Simple
pleasures. I just like going down to the cricket nets and
jumping,
barefoot in the grass kind of stuff, spending some time in the bush.
Definitely,
that's me. No one wants to see that.
Vaporizer,
a little bit of fire up the vaporizer from time to time.
Maybe see if there's a few mushies on the ground.
Exactly. I mean, I'd probably actually build a large social media following if I put those things on.
You would. You better be careful. Don't let the cat out of the bag, mate. Keep that one hidden.
Yes.
So that was Clint Hill, and we've got a grand finale with Clint coming up as well. The climatic episode 3.
Yes, a couple of weeks time. Well, a couple of episodes time.
Yep.
We've got a big one next episode.
Big one. Don't drop any names. Who's the big one?
It's a big one. Okay. Rawdon, if people want to work with you and get on the tools or get some programming, how do they get in contact with you?
Just social media, mate. The Insta or the Facey. So the Dubois method.
Yes.
And yourself?
tomhewett.com.au to leave an email. It may get through to me or it may not.
May not.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We love you.
We love you all.
Love you all.